Hello guys and welcome back to our channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first 5 videos of our Ansible course and playlist. So that was the theoretical part, and now we finally come to the most interesting part. That is, we are going to run our first lab exercises and get our hands dirty and run our first Ansible script. So if you directly came to this video, I would highly suggest that you go back to the playlist and watch the first 5 videos, as they are the important prerequisites to understand what is going on inside the lab. And I would suggest that before you start and go ahead and set up your lab and run your Ansible scripts, you understand the prerequisite, that is the theoretical part of Ansible. So that will help you, and it will be important for you to understand what is exactly going on. So without wasting any time, let's dive into our first lab. So these are the tasks that we are going to do inside our lab. So first, we are going to deploy a Ubuntu VM on VirtualBox. So if you are not aware about what VirtualBox is, I will just explain you guys in a bit. Second, then we are going to, after setting up the Ubuntu VM, we are going to set up Ansible inside the Ubuntu VM. Then following, there are two tasks that I have assigned for this lab, that we are going to write our first script to display output of a basic Linux command on the localhost. It's as simple as that. So, but we are going to use Ansible for that to display that command output. And secondly, we are going to write a script to install a package on the localhost using Ansible inside the Ubuntu VM. So let's begin. So before that, I will explain you guys what is VirtualBox. So uh, after coming to virtualbox.org, this is the website of Oracle, and this is a tool, open source tool that is provided by them. So it's a very powerful virtualization tool. So for example, I assume that most of you guys will be running or will be watching these videos using a Windows or Mac OS device. So as I have mentioned in the previous lectures, that though Ansible can manage a variety of servers or OS machines or cloud providers or networks, so but Ansible, from where do you run, should be a Linux machine, as it has dependencies on the Linux packages. So for that purposes, we need a Linux machine to run the Ansible. That is the source controller machine should be a Linux machine. So as I am running on a Windows host, so I will need a virtualization software on top of which I can run a Linux machine. So that's where VirtualBox comes into picture. So it virtualizes the hardware and provides resources to run any kind of OS on top of my host machine. That is, it can be a Windows OS as well. It can be Linux OS as well. So I want to run Ubuntu, so I will go ahead and download the VirtualBox for my Windows machine. So just click on download, and the download will begin. So as there are time constraints, and in the interest of time, I have already installed VirtualBox. But before going on to the VirtualBox, and I want to show one more website, that is the osboxes.org. So this is another free to use website where you get disks of OSs that you want to install inside your virtual machine. So here you can find a variety of images that you want to install inside your virtual machine. So if you come to this website, osboxes.org, and click on VM images, so you're going to find a number of images in disk formats. So as we are using VirtualBox, we will need VirtualBox images. So after clicking on VirtualBox images, you can find a wide variety of OS lists that are present, and whose images are present under this website. So as I have mentioned, for lab purposes, we are going to use Ubuntu. So I will go ahead and download the Ubuntu disk. So click on Ubuntu and download the VDI VirtualBox. So VirtualBox uses a VDI disk extension that can be attached to its VM. So I will just click on download VDI, and under that as well, you will find a number of a variety of versions of Ubuntu as well. So there you can select whichever you desire. So for this lab demonstration purpose, I will select Ubuntu 24.04. And this is very important. Just be careful that you select the VDI version to run inside the virtual machine, so that it can be attached to a virtual machine, and the OS, you can directly start using the OS. So I will just click on download. So again, this virtual, I have already downloaded this disk for in the interest of time. So let's go on to the demonstration of Oracle VirtualBox before I go ahead and start our virtual machines. So this is the typical screen that you will come across when you first launch your VirtualBox software. So to create a new virtual machine, just click on this new icon. So after clicking it, so you will find the name. You will find the number of parameters that it will ask for you to provide. So say for example, you can give any name to your virtual machine. So I will just name it as best Ubuntu VM. Okay. And next, you can select the folder under which the VM's files should be present, or the all the disk writes are gonna happen under that the destination folder. So I will just leave it as a default for now. So next is ISO image, as we are directly attaching a VDI disk to of that OS to our virtual machine. So we won't need a installer of any kind or any ISO image, but just in case if you want an ISO or any additional software which is in an ISO format, you can just attach it over here, and you can select that ISO image as well. We won't need this for our lab demonstration. Next part is the type, that is which type of OS you are going to run under your on your VM. So as we have selected Ubuntu, so I will just select the type Linux and the subtype as Ubuntu. And the version, you can select which version you are going to run on your top of your virtual machine. So for me, it's Ubuntu 64-bit. So I will just select that. So the second part is unattended install. So this you can leave as default. You can customize it as well. For lab purposes, I'm not gonna change that. Next part is the hardware part. So this is the resources that you're gonna allocate for your virtual machine to run. So according to your workload and your requirement, so you can tweak this memory and processors part. So as you can see, by default, it has 2 GB of RAM and one processor of CPU attached to it. So let's say for lab purposes, I'm attaching 2 processors and for 2 GB of RAM. But you can tweak it definitely if you find any resource constraints, or if your workload is heavy, you can tweak this according to your requirement. All right. So the last bit is the important bit now. So as we have downloaded a direct VDI disk to be attached directly to our virtual machine, so that we don't need to install explicitly the OS inside a virtual machine. So we will select this option, use an existing virtual hard disk file. Okay. And to upload the file that was downloaded previously, just click on this icon and click on add. So if you have unzipped the folder that has been downloaded previously on OS boxes, so you will see a folder such as like this, the 64-bit folder, and you can select the VDI image. So this is my desired OS image that I want to attach it as a disk. So I will just select it, and you can see this has appeared over here, and you can click on choose. So now this virtual machine will use this disk that has been attached. The one we downloaded has been attached directly to our virtual machine. And finally click on finish. So you can see a VM has been created for us in the power off state. Just before we move ahead with the by going inside the virtual machine, I want to show one more bit. So just go to settings on the right click, or go from here and click on settings. And for your virtual machine to connect to the internet, so we will need to use our host internet. That is the internet that is connected to our host machine to give our virtual machine as well the internet access. So if you come to the network part inside the settings, and you will find a section like this, that is network and adapter 1. So for our virtual machine to get internet access, we need to bridge the network between our host machine and the virtual machine. So just click on this enable network adapter. It should be enabled by default. So and attached it. So there are 2 options. So you need to click the bridged adapter type. So after you clicking that, you will see all the interfaces that are attached to your host machine. So I can see my Wi-Fi card that I will use for giving my VM the internet access. So I will just select that and click on OK. So we are done with the configuration part of our virtual machine. So you can just go ahead, right click and click on start, and the virtual machine will get powered up automatically, and a few installation bits will run. So that process is also time consuming. So for in the interest of time, I have already deployed a virtual machine and set it up. So I will just move ahead by logging in, and just give me a second. All right. So this is something typical screen that will come to. So this is our Ubuntu virtual machine, and we will have everything in place. So, all right. So let's move on. Now we are going to go to the second step. That is, we have already deployed the Ubuntu VM on VirtualBox. Now we will set up Ansible. So let's go to our virtual machine and come to our terminal screen. So as we most of you should be well aware that that Ubuntu especially uses apt package manager to install packages inside a inside the OS, that is inside our Ubuntu machine. So I hope you guys are aware about the command. So I will just go ahead and install Ansible. So that is sudo apt install Ansible. Oh, that's it. So it has started downloading Ansible, and it will go ahead and install. So this process will take a bit. So I will just fast forward it and see you on the other side. All right. So we can see that Ubuntu also has apt has installed Ansible. So just for confirming, we can run a command, that is Ansible fresh version. So we will understand if Ansible has been installed or not. So yes, we can see a version that is being displayed, that is 2.16.3. So Ansible has been installed inside this machine, and we are good to go. So for this coding purposes, I have installed Visual Studio Code. So that's my preference for a code editor. You can use any code editor, or you can use Vim as well inside the terminal for coding. It's all up to you. So I find this easier. So I have installed it inside my virtual machine. So let's create. So finally, let's create our first playbook. So let's give a name as simple as playbook.yaml. So if you are not aware about why Ansible uses YAML, please go back to my previous lectures, and I have explained it in detail why we use YAML inside our playbooks. All right, so we are done with setup of Ansible, and now we are going to write a first script, that is to run and display output of a basic Linux command on the Linux host. So let's go to the virtual machine, and we are going to start writing our code. So as you are, I will just step by step, I will code and explain as well what am I exactly doing. So in Playbook, as we are well aware that we write plays, and plays are in form of a list. So lists are each entry in a list is annotated by a dash. So I entered a dash, and then I will start with the basic hierarchy of a playbook. So as we are aware, so we can give a name for a play. So name is an optional parameter. You can skip that as well. So I will just give a name, display command output. So that's my name of the play. Next parameter is the host. So this is an compulsory parameter. So you have to permission where does the Ansible go and run this script, on which all host it goes and run the script. So I will just select localhost, as I don't have multiple virtual machines for now. So it will run on the localhost itself. And then finally, where the magic happens, that's the tasks. So again, tasks like plays is also a collection of lists. So I will need to mention a dash, annotate with a dash. So this will mark as one entry. So I'll go ahead and give a name again. So again, this is optional parameter. You can skip it, or you can, for a better visualization, it's good to name each and every task and play. So let's say pick up that we want to see the present working directory of Linux. So that uses a command called pwd. So we will run that command. Okay. So I will select and give a name, that run command pwd on localhost. All right, that's the name of my task, and I will use the command module. Now, what is module? I'm going to explain in very detail in the next lecture. So for now, just understand that command is a type of module. All right. So my command is pwd, that has to be go and run. again, now this till now it will go ahead and run the pwd command on the localhost, but I will need to register the output somewhere. So register, for the registration, there is another module called as register. So I will mention and register it under some variable. Say now the variable name is output. So what this task is now currently doing, it will go ahead and run the pwd command on localhost and register the output in a variable called as output. All right. So that's one task. Now we have registered it, but now we want to display the output. So I will give one more task to it. Now display the output. All right. So for that, we use one more module that is called as the debug module. So its syntax is something like that. So we under debug, we give the variable and we have the variable registered at output dot std out. So here what it's going to do is it's going to debug, that is get all the tasks output and dump it into this variable variable, and it will be displayed when we run the Ansible script. So that's it, and we are good to go and run our first Ansible script. So as I will just once cross check if I'm in the right directory and using the inbuilt Visual Studio as terminal itself. You can see playbook.yaml is already present. So let's go ahead and run a script. Sorry for the typos. There is a bit of a lag because of using virtual machines. So just bear with me. I will just directly run it from the post terminal. So you can see the playbook.yaml is present under here. We'll just clear the terminal for now. All right. So the syntax will be Ansible-playbook and the name of our playbook. And that's it. So moment of truth. So you can see it has, I will explain you what this output means. So play. So it got one play, that is the display command output. So that's the name we gave over here. So display command output. So that play is going to execute. Then the task, it's gathering facts by default. And then it's running the command on localhost. So when it mentions changed means it has gone explicitly on the localhost and did some activity over there. So that's annotated by change. And finally, after running the command, we got the output inside the output variable, and what its mentions is our present working directory. As you can see, this is the same directory. If you want to cross verify, you can see under desktop and the Ansible, we have ran from the Ansible script from this directory itself. So if I explicitly run this command as pwd, you will get the same output that we got over here. So congratulations, we ran our first Ansible playbook and ran our first play. All right, so moving on to the last exercise of our labs. So we want to write a script to install a package on the local host. So let's go ahead and start coding inside it. So let's say we'll modify this script itself. So now I will just rename it as install a package on the local host. All right, host will be the same, that is it will be localhost, and under tasks now we have to install some package. Let's see, for example, we will install SQLite 3. As you can see, SQLite 3 is not currently present. After running SQLite 3 and it's mentioning that run the command sudo apt install SQLite, but we will install this using Ansible now. All right, so under tasks, I will just name that task. So install SQLite 3 on the localhost. So that's my task. And again, now apt. So apt is another module inside Ansible. So apt is an installation module, that is package management module. So it helps us install the desired packages inside our virtual machine. So its hierarchy is something like this. So under apt, we mention name. Now name is which package we want to install under now on the local host. So I will mention SQLite 3 and state. So we want to give the state or in which state should it be installed. So it should be present. That is what it mentions is if it's already present on the virtual machine, it will not run the apt command to install it again. So if it's state is if you mention the state as present, so it will go ahead and install it if it's not present inside the virtual machine. So that's all of it. So now we'll go ahead and run our playbook ahead again, and let's see what does it give. So let's run the command. Sorry, I'm not in that directory. So let me quickly go. All right. So we can see the playbook YAML is present under here. And it counts. All right. So we got a first failure on hand. So what's the failure exactly? So if you want to pinpoint it, so under the task, you can see some fatal error has happened. And what exactly does it mention? As you can see, permission denied. So as we saw previously during installing Ansible, that we require a host password, that is a root privileges to run this command, to run the commands on to install any package. So as I mentioned in the previous lecture, to give host privileges, there is one option, that is we give become as yes. So by mentioning this, so playbook will automatically, that means Ansible will automatically use root privileges and go ahead and install the packages. So let's try that again. And again, it's at failed with some error. So sudo password is required. So that's because OS Boxes is not a root user. That is, it does not have sudo privileges. So for this demonstration purposes, I will just go to the root user. All right. So the root user will have all privileges, and I will just run our playbook using privileges. So now you can see it's happening. So it has gone inside the task of install SQLite, and we can see changed, and we have got the OK status and changed one. That is the apt has gone inside and installed the package inside our Ubuntu machine. So now let's check if I get some output after ensuring SQLite. We can see SQLite database has been installed inside our virtual machine, and I am able to access it. So that's all for this lecture, and I hope you enjoyed these two exercises. And if you have any doubts, just please mention it in the comment section, and I will be happy to address any kind of doubts, queries, or any troubles that you face during the installation or during running the scripts. So that's it for now, and see you in the next one. Thank you.